Hello guys, welcome to the stream, just a quick audio test. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. We are here in Bergen Airport, Aerosoft Bergen to be exact. Again, not often that I get payware scenery for X-Plane, but I decided, well, I have some points on the xplane.org store, and it would cost an awful lot to try and save up for a plane, so why not splash it on some scenery? And I discovered, you know what, the home base of Nordic Sky on the Embraer E195 for Fly UK is Bergen. And Aerosoft Bergen was available, so I thought, you know what, yeah, why not, let's go for it. And it's a really nice scenery actually, I really like it. I don't know how much better it is than default. Also, it looks as though my stream is lagging a bit, although weirdly it says that we're running 60 FPS. So OBS is saying 60 FPS, but then the thing that's being outputted doesn't really look 60 FPS. Anyway, who knows, hopefully it's okay. It does look a little laggy. Hopefully that once I get in the cockpit it'll be okay. How is it? How is it inside the cockpit? It's okay. It looks a little bit laggy, but OBS is saying that it's 60 FPS, so who knows about that. Anyway, that aside, let's actually get into the flying today then. So today we're flying this Embraer E195 down to Stuttgart. Should be a flight time of about an hour and 40 minutes. So let's go ahead and get everything fired up on this aircraft. So this once put the AC power into auto. APU power can come on. No, GPU power can come on. DC power that can all go over to auto. All the fuel pumps and things, yeah, they can go over to auto as well. Then the battery switches auto and on, and they can see everything's going to fire up now. And as with always in this plane, you actually have to put it into... Oh, there you go. As always in this plane, you have to actually put it into... I don't know. Okay, the video feed looks pretty smooth on my phone, so I'm hoping that it's okay. Anyway, let's just go into here. So first of all, before we do anything, we just need to make sure that our weights are in kilos. There we are. It's nice and easy. And this can just sit on the departure page for now. It's a bit of a tricky MCDU thing to program. So we're sitting out here on the ground in Bergen, and we'll go ahead and get up. Right, we'll get the weather first. So we are here in ENBR. QNH is currently 1030 here. I just need to switch it over to... What? Where's the button to switch it over to... I've accidentally pushed standard. Where is the button that... There you go. What if I zoom up? There you go. That's now into HPA rather than inches. Right, up to 1030 now. There we are. And the weather is 020 at 9 knots, so that's perfect for the runway we've selected today. And then the weather down in Stuttgart is also perfect for the weather we've selected today. I'm just checking to make sure that the runways we've selected are the correct ones. So before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and get our weight and balance set up. So today we have, in total, 58 passengers on board today. So we're going to keep moving that up until we see 58 as the souls on board. 58, there it is. And then we're going to keep, so we're going to get the fuel in now, which we have to try and get as exact as possible. It is 5,400 kilos, so that's going to be, we can't see our total fuel anywhere, so it's about 3,000, so it's about 2,600, 2,700 in each tank. There we go, that's about the right amount of fuel. And cargo then, we're looking for, finally, a zero fuel weight of 35.8. Where is our zero fuel weight? Okay, we haven't got our zero fuel weight, we've actually got the takeoff weight, which is 41.0. So we'll go off the takeoff weight, 41.0, there we go. Adjust the cargo so the centre of gravity is a bit lower, there we are. Perfect, centre of gravity is 16.76, we'll put that in later, so we'll just keep this up here for now. And we'll move over to the MCDU, and we can go ahead and start everything programmed. So we're here in Bergen, which is ENBR. ENBR. Departure airport. Runway is runway 35, and we are taking the Tuxi 3 Delta. There we go, Tuxi 3 Delta. Execute that. Perfect, that's all in there now, ready to go. No transitions, no? No. So back, that's now in there. We now want to add route waypoints. So, our first waypoint obviously is Tuxil. So, Tuxil. And we're entering our cruise altitude for today. So we have fix and then Tuxil, which is in there. And our cruise altitude for today is 37,000 feet. And we don't need to enter in the speed at any point yet. So, save that. And then airways. Oh, hang on a minute. Do I need to go back? Oh. Okay. I think I've messed something up. Okay, route. Airways. Actually, we're not even doing airways. It's okay. Wait, has this deleted the first waypoint? Has this deleted it? This is why I get confused about this. Right, route edit. Okay, it's deleted that first waypoint we put in, so we'll put it back in. Tuxil. Tuxil. Save that. Next one. Next waypoint is Zol. Z-O-L. Where is it? Z-O-L. Zol. Enter that in there. Oh, wait a minute, I need to make sure that's a VOR. Actually, is it a VOR? Because it could be an NDB, remember? You need to tell it, it's a VOR. So, VOR, it's in, and then Zol. I always forget that you need to change around the modes on this aircraft. Z-O-L, Zol. There we go, Solar, that is the correct one. Save that. And from Zol, it is P992. How do I put it on the next page? Oh, next. It is P992, and the next waypoint is Bivki, so it's the Bivki, and we're taking it as far as Alsob. That's a long way on one airway. Alsob. So, well, waypoint 14, look at that. So that's now in there. From Alsob, we're jumping on N850. November 850, there it is. There's only one, so it'll be that one. And we're taking that to WRB. WRB. That's in there, a lot of waypoints today. And then from there, we're jumping on UN 850, of which there is only one. And we're taking that to KRH. KRH. There we go. Save that. What do I mean entering complete? What have I done? Oh, hang a minute. Is that all saved complete then? It is okay, good. I thought I'd messed something up then. So that's okay. And then the arrival, we are landing in EDDS. Just so everything's all working on this part of the aircraft. Yeah, EDDS. We don't need to align any IRSs in this. I don't think it's simulated in this particular aircraft. They are redoing the jets, which is why these were on sale. They were quite cheap, so they're redoing them, which will be nice. Right, runway 07 down in Stuttgart, and it's going to be the KRH-1 Echo. It is technically an RNAV transition that would only typically be given by ATC, but since the other version, since the star that we were going to take is quite a long star, it positions us kind of in a position for both runways. It's what it would be used when it was busy, so it's not busy, so we're not going to use that. So that's in there. Perfect. Just go ahead and check the route over. I think it should all be good. Start edit, you can see it's all in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to check all the restrictions on the SID before we set off, because it's a good idea to do that, just so this aircraft can get some of its... There you go, just so it can get some of its altitudes right. So that's perfect on the SID. And then the start edit, again, we'll leave that till later. But normally when it says 7,000 or above, that will mess up the top of descent. It'll mean that the aircraft wants us at 7,000, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll leave that for now. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go to performance, and then put in our centre of gravity. 16.76 is our MAC percentage. That calculates our centre of gravity. And then payload weight is 6621. And our fuel in each side is 2726. No, that's the wrong one. I put it in the wrong box. The payload is 6621. There. So that's in there. You can see it's got all our data in there now. In terms of departure, we're going to be doing a takeoff of D-rate 1 today. And that's calculated. It's a flaps 1 departure with a trim of 2.0. So there is a button there. That I think there is actually a button that you're supposed to use on the yoke or something, but that's not the button I use. I use the backup button. There. Why isn't it set yet? Great. It's so silly how far I have to hold it down. There you go, it's on 2.0 now. Perfect, that's all the weights in there. Now, the performance for cruise airspeed. Now, this is kind of a bit difficult in terms of, I don't know what SimBrief is saying, but usually what it puts as our airspeed is wrong. It's generally quite a little bit too fast for this aircraft. Okay, it's looking like Mach 0.76 will be our cruise today, according to SimBrief. That actually sounds pretty good. So decimal 76 is in there. Initial cruise altitude is going to be 37,000, and our final one is going to be 37,000. The cruise winds today are 324 at 5.5. Why is our cruise outside air temperature 71 degrees? Interesting. It's not 71 degrees. Can I get the temperature? Minus 53, it's looking like. So, minus 53. No idea why that was saying it would be 71 degrees. It won't. That's just weird. There you go. So, it's a calculator everything there. Flight time of 1 hour and 42 minutes, which is identical to what SimBrief is saying. And that is everything in there. And for VNAV profile, we'll just leave it as default, because we'll probably do our own descent in the end anyway. And that is it. That is this aircraft programmed and ready to go. So what we're going to go ahead and do... Actually, we're going to go the autopilot first. Target altitude, we'll just set cruise of 37,000. Target heading is the runway heading of 350. And vertical speed is about 2,600. And target speed is 240. There, so that's all in there. And then we're going to go ahead and head back here. And what we're going to do is go ahead and hit execute. That then puts all our flight plan in the aircraft, and we can see what the plane is doing. If we have a look at the route edit page, we can actually see our whole route. That's not our whole route. Hang on a minute. Which button is it? Is it progress and then page 2? Maybe? No. Oh, flight plan. Progress then flight plan. And you can see there's our flight plan. Look, the aircraft's put in a rough VNAV profile for it, but not a total one. And that is it in there, perfect, ready to go. And we've only got the use of one FMC, they are joint in this aircraft, sadly. Alright, auto brakes can come over to RTO, let's go ahead and get everything up here sorted. So, no smoking signs and seatbelt signs can come on. Hydraulics can go into auto. Packs can go, so what we're going to do naturally, we want to fire up the APU. First of all, we're going to go ahead and go to better push back and start push back.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
And we're going to push back like that.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Flight vectors can come on, and then we'll make sure they're set to nav. Actually, no, not yet, we just need to whack this over to FMS mode. Now nav can be activated, and vertical speed can be activated. So there we go, that's everything all ready to go. So what we need to do finally, just need to make sure the APU is coming on. It doesn't take very long at all to start this thing. So start the APU, and you can see already, I don't know whether it starts up this quickly in real life, but it certainly starts up this quickly in the game. And then we want to go to menu and just shut all the doors on the aircraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boarding door has now closed.
APU's fired up already. Packs can go over to APU mode.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
So they're on APU power mode now. The packs and the bleeds can come on. Eyes protection, make sure that's on. And the windshield heating. And we want the red beacon and the nav light.
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start.
And then we want to go onto the APU gen, so we can get rid of the ground power and the ground equipment. Plugins, ground handling, hide all. And we're all good to go. So what we want to do now, we want to make sure we're on Unicom, first of all. So we'll flip this over to COM1 for now. 122.8. I know you're supposed to like look at it in the other one, in the right, and then we're just going to make sure that X-Pilot's picking up my voice, which it is. There's no ATC, so let's go ahead and pull the parking brake. This can go into map mode. There you go. And we want to go ahead and get rid of all of those apart from weather and TCAS. Oh, wait a minute, they didn't tell us to release the parking brake yet. That's my mistake. I thought they had. Positive that they had. Right, but everything should be ready to go now, ready for departure. I think, as I said, I think the packs can stay on during engine start in this aircraft. I'm fairly certain that they can. We can't really disconnect the... Oh, the jetway has disconnected, cool. It uses AutoGate, this airport, rather than SAM, so it's a little bit different how it works. Right, we're still waiting for the jetway, Are we still waiting for them, the pushback?
Starting pushback. And you may start engine.
Cool. Alright, so, what you want to do in this aircraft, you want to go ahead and put the ignition into auto. And you want to hold this on start then, until the N2 reaches about 25%. There we go. That's set now, so we can leave it. And then we'll wait for that to start, and then we'll start up the other engine then as well. Okay, maybe the packs should be off, because it doesn't look like those engines are starting. Packs can come off. There you go. So the packs do need to be off by the looks of it for the engines to start in this aircraft, I think. You can see the N2 is now rising. Very slowly, actually. I don't know how... oh, there you go. They look like they're firing into life now. Maybe a bit of a slow engine start in this aircraft. There you go. They are starting up now. We're all good. Okay, cool. And the range on here is 10. That's fine. You can see there we are pushing back. Everything's all ready to go, so... And the engines are starting. You can see there, engine number 1 is successfully started, so we'll go ahead and start engine number 2. I haven't been able to look at where the... I hate you have to hold this down for so long. Is that enough? Yep, it is, and you can see without the packs the engine started a lot quicker, so it does mean that you don't use packs in this aircraft to start the engines. So there you go, the engines have started now. You can see they're both stabilised now, which is cool. The pressurisation panel doesn't work in this aircraft, so we just need to make sure it's on auto. Packs can come on now, and we want to put this over to both engines. And you can see the engines are started, they're all ready, and everything's good to go. We want to go flaps 1 for departure. And then make sure that's set. The APU can now come off. APU gen is off, and then we can turn the APU off. Where is the APU? Am I being dumb?
Set parking brake.
I'm actually being dumb. Where's the APU button? What's going on? What have I forgotten where the... Right, set parking brake. I mean, it doesn't actually matter, I can't turn it off. There it is. Stop the APU. It's now going to turn off, and this plane will become an awful lot quieter because of it. Right, set parking brake. Right, the audio sounds okay. Cool, disconnect the ground crew. And you can see we're all ready to depart now. We're going to be using initially 95% thrust, and then what we want to do then, after departure, is turn that down. So we want to go into here, and then we'll turn it down to climb 1 once we're airborne. That's the way of derating the throttle in this
Nose
aircraft.
disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Cool. Taxi to runway 35, it's not a very long taxi, so literally just to the left over there. Nothing is heading to Bergen, and nothing's heading to Stuttgart, so looks like we're going to be pretty empty today, although we have got Bremen Radar online. They've been online for an hour and a half, so if they're still online by the time we get there, I'll be good. Oh, the parking brakes were set, so I don't know why the plane was moving. That's interesting. Alright, pushback tractor's gone, so we can go ahead and get the taxi lights on. And away we go. And then we'll just make sure that our flight controls are working. Obviously, this is the first time I've actually flown this plane on this computer with this yoke, and you can see. Okay, we're going to be using the rudder to control this aircraft on the ground. That's no problem with me. Yeah, it's weird. My recording is definitely running a bit not as smoothly as usual today. I don't know why. It's lagging a little bit. Although it's weird because OBS is saying 60 FPS. So that's really odd. I can't change any of my settings because I have to stop streaming and then start streaming again. It's a weird one. What if I change the preset to performance? Is that gonna make it any better? Nope. So we'll set it back to quality. Okay, I don't know. I think maybe it's just plain. I'll have to have a look at it in detail. It actually looks okay on my phone. Weirdly. It looks smooth, so I don't know. Actually, it looks pretty smooth on my computer as well. I think it might be OBS. So it does always fool me. The window of OBS, I always say it when I'm recording sometimes, the window of OBS always makes everything look quite laggy. Maybe the actual window itself only runs in 30 FPS or something, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Right, taxiing up to the runway, we're going to go full length on the runway, why not? Right, landing lights can come on, taxi lights can come off. Flaps are set to 1 for departure. Everything's good, nothing's approaching, so there's no need to advise Unicom, we'll just check no one is coming. And then we're actually going to get our TCAS on as well. And then just going to also check that the speed brakes worked. They do. The speed brakes do work. Although are they... Okay, they are set backwards. So before we quickly set off, I'm just going to go to... Just going to go to joystick and then make sure that that this axis here is not set to be reversed. So depending on the aircraft I'm flying, I need to have it either on reverse or not on reverse. It's important to find that out before you take off. It doesn't really matter, you can't change it. Right, okay, parked up on the runway, just check all the restrictions one more time. Maximum of 250 knots until BR621, no 821 on the departure, and above flight level 160 by a Mexi. So that's it. So, throttle set 40%. And don't think the auto throttle wants to work actually. So we're going to go. If we go full power, it will actually automatically set 95%, which is quite cool. So you can see it's done that there. Go ahead and start the clock. We only have an option of chrono on this aircraft, so we'll have to keep an eye on how many hours that is. Right, 100 knots. Maybe I'm doing a bit of a high power takeoff here actually. V1, rotate. I set my V speeds. Why haven't they come up? I set my V speeds. That's weird. And then straight away we're going to go ahead and right, gear up. So this aircraft's definitely overpowered. That is certain. We're going to go climb 1 on here. You can see now it's a bit better. And as always as well, the nav is actually slightly out of sync on this aircraft. Right, back to progress, back to flight plan. Yeah, as always, this aircraft is slightly broken when it comes to its navigation. Right, flaps up. And we're going to go maximum power on the throttle, which is 88%. And we're going to go ahead and enable autopilot, which is going to suddenly turn us to the left slightly. Again, it's a bog, that is, with this aircraft. Its navigation is always slightly off, which annoys me a little bit. It's not off by a lot, just a little bit. But it's quite annoying that it does that. Right, this aircraft is massively speeding. I'm going to put it in flight level change mode, and that should allow it to climb and allow us to still be at maximum speed, hopefully. That's the hope, anyway. So this thing doesn't really have an auto throttle. It kind of does, but it doesn't. Actually, no, bigger. We've enabled auto throttle now. This thing should now climb, hopefully, quite well. There you go. We've got the hang of it now. It's okay. This thing's done a bit of a rocket climb. I said it's a bit of a difficult plane to handle, this thing. It's definitely a bit overpowered. It's quite an old plane, really, for X-Plane. So they are bringing new ones. Hopefully, xplane.org says the middle of this year, which is a bit fun, which is a bit, you know, I actually bought it and then just discovered there was a second version, which was a bit ridiculous, but obviously it's not a definite release date yet. It's just what it says on the xplane.org store. Right, you can see the climber's now leveled out. Now I've understood how to use auto throttle. And we're past transition altitude. We'll go ahead and set standard. But remember, we can't actually speed up until after BR621. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put this on the progress page so we can see how long it is until Stuttgart. This thing is actually saying we won't have enough fuel to make it to Stuttgart, although obviously at the moment we're still... its fuel calculations are done in the moment. Right, line lights off. And you can see we're now turning towards BR621. And there we go, we have nicely departed from Bergen. It's been quite a while since I've flown this aircraft, a good few weeks. But I do really enjoy flying it. It's a really cool plane. This will be the longest flight I've done with it. But even though it is a bit of an interesting plane to fly, there's some peculiarities about it. It is definitely fun to fly. But yeah, remember we're limited to 250 knots for the moment, so that'll be coming up soon. See, the plane is quite nicely sticking to, you know, the thing with sticking at 250 knots, it does mean that we get quite a nice fast climb initially. You can use VNAV and it will give you vertical speeds, but it does also mean that it will keep changing around the... Yeah, it does mean it will keep changing the altitude, which I don't like. In fact, don't do that, please, plane. I shouldn't have enabled VNAV. It's a bug with this plane. Well, not a bug, but it's how the VNAV works. It's a little bit of a strange VNAV. Thank you, plane. I want to go up. No. There we are. I think it's going to sort itself out now. No? Okay, this plane's being strange now. That's happened. Now I've changed this. Right, autopilot. And the autopilot is set to 3,100 feet per minute. So it should hopefully... And the auto throttle's also broken. Great. Yeah, this plane is difficult at the best of times. Right, we can now increase the speed as well to 290 knots. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the vertical speed so this thing can actually get going. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain sometimes to deal with, this plane. Got to keep an eye on everything. Right, we'll wait to get up to 290 knots and then I'll sort out everything. You can see as the speed increases, our ETA is going to start coming back a lot. There you go. As you can see now, we're leveled off. We've recovered now. So it's a bit of a weird plane to deal with, this one, sometimes. With how it handles. You know, sometimes it would be nice to use VNAV, and then you realise it's actually, I mean, it literally said, I don't know why it set it to 6,700 feet, because I'm pretty sure the altitude target for the waypoint we were at was, oh, okay. Yeah, this thing's climb gradient's actually a bit messed up. We've done a bit of a quicker climb than normal today because of the fact that, because of that speed restriction, and also the plane being a bit overpowered on takeoff. I forgot that you need to use a D-rate of 2 on takeoff, really, rather than a D-rate of 1. But anyway, we're in the air now, we're all good. Seatbelt signs can come off. And you can see the plane's having no problem now dealing with this. What I'm going to do now is put it into flight level change mode, and what that will do is basically manage the best it can the throttle. I'm going to put it at about 80% the throttle. I'm probably going to put it just below there, about 85%, and then the plane will basically climb the quickest that it can to maintain 290 knots at this particular speed. So that's what we're going to do, and you can see now we've sped up. Look, the it is actually now telling us what time it actually, you know, how much fuel it actually thinks we're going to have in Stuttgart, a more accurate representation. And there we are, and you can see now, I mean, our climb will start to slow as we go on through this climb with this setting of throttle. I will probably increase the engine power as we get above, like, you know, 30,000 feet. Obviously, Mach 0.76 today, so that's when we're going to swap the plane over to Mach speed for today's flight. But there we go. Oh, we haven't put the yaw damper on. That didn't seem to have any effect on the plane, weirdly, not having the yaw damper. Makes me wonder if the yaw damper actually works in this aircraft. Also, why am I detecting a plane near me? Is that a plane? There's not a plane anywhere near me, so I don't know what that is. If I turn it off, is it a plane? Yeah, it is. That's strange, because there's no one... There is a plane detected near me, but it's at 35,000 feet, so that wouldn't be... Oh, actually, yeah, look, 140 feet, it means 14,000. That TCAS has a large range. How is it able to detect things that are that far away? 14,000 feet. I'm not sure if I need to know if something is 14,000 feet away, but there we go. Right, push to sync the heading with our current heading. It's good that the plane has that feature. I mean, you don't have to scroll the heading wheel to make sure it's facing the right way. You can just use that function. Right, this is going to 80 nautical mile range now, so we can see our whole route pan out ahead of us. And then I'm going to keep an eye on when this thing said we should descend. You can see the descent is actually 120 miles from Stuttgart, which is, I would say, perfect. Maybe actually a bit late for 37,000 feet. Only 120 miles for 37,000 feet is actually quite a steep descent. So, as I said, the top descent in this aircraft is nowhere near accurate. It's not true. Right, you can see the plane's now doing about 2,300 feet per minute. This thing will really start to do a proper, like, Airbus climb, like 800 feet per minute, once we get really high up. Because 38,000 feet is actually quite high for this plane, from what I remember previously flying it. And remember, our speed conversion's at Mach 0.76, so we'll keep our eye out for that. I might increase the speed soon. If that but as soon as that drops below about 2,000 feet per minute, I'll probably increase our throttle so we can keep up the climb speed. You can see 726 miles to go to Stuttgart, so it's quite a long journey today for this plane. Hello in the chat. Yeah, down in Stuttgart, we've got the airport to ourselves, so that's kind of quite nice. And someone's trying to, someone's just departed Stuttgart, and they're trying to get 737 into London City. Interesting. I think 737s can land in London City, but that's still interesting. And it's a TUI jet, so it's not like a real live flight that they're doing. Okay, OBS doesn't seem to be lagging at all now. That might be because we're in the air. Anyway. Think about that, I probably should change some of my OBS settings, because I've noticed it's using my graphics card for the encoding. Maybe I should swap it for my processor. Anyway, you can see up we climb now, passing 28,000. This thing does climb pretty quickly on this first bit, and then it's going to start to slow down now, I think. You can see we dropped to just 1,600 feet per minute now. So we're going to go ahead and increase the power a tiny bit, about 85%. That'll allow us to do a bit of a quicker climb. You see, we've got a very nice tailwind at the moment. We were supposed to have quite a big tailwind today. First time I've flown this plane properly with X-Plane Live Weather, because it was broken when I first got this plane. And then the last flight I did, when it was in this plane, when it had just been re-enabled, the live weather, there was a weird bug where all the live weather was being converted into like maximum wind shear, maximum turbulence, and it was unflyable. So it's good to see that that's all been sorted now, all those many problems with the live weather. Right, we're going to go ahead and swap this over to Mach mode now, at about Mach decimal 76. There, I'll swap it over there, Mach decimal 763. And you can see that's now our new target speed, and that will allow this thing to increase its climb a little bit as the speed starts to decrease on there, because our airspeed now is going to decrease a little bit because it's doing it based on Mach speed now. And you can see the amount of fuel we're going to have in Stuttgart just goes up and up. This thing definitely burns slightly less fuel than it's supposed to. I'm fairly sure of that. And there's also a slightly weird bug where when you convert all the weights in the aircraft to kilograms, the fuel quantity stays in pounds. No idea why. The rest of it all converts to kilograms. Just that. Also, I've just realised some of the lights that I like to turn off in this aircraft I haven't actually turned off. It's weird though, I'm positive it's the... Oh, it's not instrument brightness. Is it main panel? No. None of these lights are actually... I wonder if I can... Oh, there you go. Panel lights. Is it cabin floodlights? No, that's... I don't know. Yeah, these buttons are still lit up, but there is a control, I think, to dim them. I think that must be a thing for VR, this. I think this must be a thing for VR. Those little pop-up panels. Because obviously X-Plane needs flyable in VR. I honestly don't think the flight sim is something that needs VR, but I don't know, maybe some people like it. I can't see flight sim being something suitable for VR, to be honest, but I really can't. Like, I mean, because VR, you have to spend long periods of time in a flight sim. So VR, I don't know, VR is not something that appeals to me with a flight sim. I don't think it's the right sort of game for VR. You can see we're climbing at about 1,200 feet per minute, so not bad, really. You can see we're 15 minutes into the flight coming up on now. Next waypoint is Zoll. The plane did think we'd be at top of climb by then. We'll see. And then once we're there, we'll do a little plan. We'll pop it into plan mode and have a little look at our, you know, upcoming routes, basically. Let's go outside. Not very cloudy today, so we get a look at that lovely weather down there. And the weather down in Stuttgart is very nice as well. Clouds and visibility okay, so it looks like it's quite a calm, nice day all over Europe today, which is lovely. I mean, I look at the significant weather now, and there's nothing really. No cloud bases, no nothing. Looks like France may be a bit cloudy, but that's in the air, in mid-air. But overall, yeah, very nice day it's looking like. Around the world, well, round around England and, well, Europe I mean, from on about. Right. So, there we go, climbing at 1,000 feet per minute, which is fine. We should be at cruise. Yep, 37,000, so it's quite a high up cruise for this aircraft. I don't know what its maximum maximum climb is. Fly UK says 41,000 is its service ceiling. Obviously, not totally sure whether those are accurate. It gives its maximum cruise speed of 470 knots. That would be in true airspeed. That would be. Where is the true airspeed on this? It must give it somewhere, right? Also, for some reason, it seems as if the wind thing is broken. I don't know why. What is the wind outside? I know it's not 0 knots. It's 68 knots. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. It looks like the wind. Looks like the wind icon is broken. We'll just ignore that. Interesting. And all of a sudden our climb has just come to a bit of a halt there. 600 feet per minute, so that's proper slow climbing. Yeah, I don't know why this thing has suddenly started. It went from about 1,000 feet per minute down to 600 just really quickly. Hopefully that's okay. Also, I've noticed my flap. Yeah, the axis that I have assigned to the flaps is a bit broken. It seems to be flickering when I move it a little bit. Okay, we'll leave that. Hopefully that sorts itself out. That seems to be a bit of a bug. Okay, this thing's climb has just stopped, like just stalled. So we're going to go up to maximum power now to allow this thing to actually complete the climb, because it doesn't look like it's able to. Again, this thing doesn't seem to be able to tell you what its maximum cruise altitude is, so I have no idea what we would have been able to go up to today. Maybe 37,000 is a bit too high for today, I don't know. There you go. So as we've set 88%, which is the maximum power, this thing has been able to do quite a decent climb, so I guess it just kind of, I guess the climb just kind of finished off a bit, for some reason. Anyway, we're in range of Bremen Centre. They're on 125.025. Now, you are supposed to use this, you know, you can use the MCDU for comms, but I don't do that, because if you had two comms, like you would in the real aircraft, if you had two MCDUs, I would use one for comms and one for the MCDU bit, but since this aircraft only allows the use of one screen. Oh, the cockpit door's locked. No, unlocked, we'll lock it. Right, there you go, we're now at 37,000, and this thing's going to start the level off. So what I'm going to do now is put in okay, it's actually automatically gone into auto throttle mode, which is great, and this thing should now, hopefully, just employ the perfect amount of throttle to be stuck at Mach 763. Which hopefully, again, at the moment it's 84%, so quite a high power level. It's always like this, always like that in this aircraft. To get this, you know, cruise sim brief was very obvious because when you have loads of waypoints, sim brief is definitely better with the Mach numbers. It's actually saying Mach 7.7 once we cross over into Germany, Mach 7.6 while we're over Norway. But I think we'll just stick to 7.6 at the moment. That seems to be the best this plane is capable of, and I have no idea what's happened to the wind thing there. It seems to have totally broken. Sadly, I don't know what's gone on there. And you can see there we are now set. This plane is calculating the fuel we'll have left in Stuttgart, which is too much fuel, 3.6 kilograms. And when we land in Stuttgart, we are calculated to have 2.1 kilograms left. So yeah, the fuel burn on this aircraft is nowhere near accurate. Maybe SimBrief's fuel burn for this aircraft is slightly wrong. I don't know, but I have a feeling that it's probably more on this plane's end rather than SimBrief. You can see there we are. You can see there's the autopilot summary there that you can see, and We can mark this onto flight plan to get a look at all the waypoints on today's route. There's a lot of them. Look at that, 41 waypoints. Crazy. Not usually that many. 41's a lot of waypoints. It's because of all the airways and things. Later on in over Germany, we basically have a waypoint like every 6 or 7 miles, pretty much. In parts, so that's kind of why. So it's an hour and 40-minute flight as well. It's quite a long flight for an aircraft like this. Obviously, we only have chrono, so to get an idea of the flight time will be a bit difficult. Well, it'll be 1 hour, and then whatever the chrono is listed there, I guess. And you can see this thing does actually have as well the built-in X-plane FMC as well. It doesn't. I think it probably works. It's not as detailed, obviously, but you can view. You can view the flight level. You can view the flight routing itself, and I think it's what it uses actually to calculate the VNAV, which is why the VNAV is often wrong. You can see, I mean, somehow we're supposed to go from 37,000 to 7,000 in 10 miles. I mean, obviously that's not correct, is it? But I'd prefer to put that on the status page. Is it the status page? Database page? No. There's a page I usually just stick this one on. It's probably the status page, I think. And it just tells us all about X-plane. So I don't know how much it actually does. It probably does a bit. And there's a plane near. How is it Wait, is that detecting a plane on the ground? It is as well. It's actually detecting a plane on the ground. That's it. The TCAS also needs some work with this plane, clearly, because yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be. What if I swap it over to transponder rather than T8 all? Nope, that doesn't do anything. Okay. So it appears that the TCAS in this aircraft is a little bit broken as well, because it's somehow detecting a plane from the ground, which it would worry me if we were going into an airport with like 20 planes. Oh, Langen radar's just come online, which is the same area that Stuttgart is in. So they may give us a different star, sadly. Obviously, initially, at the moment, I'm planning the KRH-1 Echo. No, is it the 1 Echo? Yeah. Because that gives us a nice path onto final rather than taking what you'd normally be given with no OTC. Not with no. It's what you'd be given. It's what you would plan before you got given something with ATC. But obviously ATC could just change it back. Because technically the style that we're using is technically an RNAV transition, and you're only really allowed to use it when you're cleared by ATC. But I wouldn't. There's no need really. That's the thing. If we used what we were going to use originally, we'd basically end up with vectors, or probably more likely the same transition again. Now I'm waiting. I don't think Bremen radar would be online for much longer, because they've already been online for an hour and 52 minutes, so I have a feeling they're going to be disconnecting in the next 10 minutes, but we'll see. Langen radar's only just come online, so, and they are covering Stuttgart, so that's nice. So we might get a bit of ATC today, which is good. So Germany's always great for ATC. You know, yesterday was kind of nuts. I didn't end up flying on the Vatsim network yesterday because Cross the Pond was going on. I thought it best to just ignore Cross the Pond for Vatsim because it was crazy. I actually tried to book a slot for Cross the Pond, but I found out that it was going on a bit late, and there wasn't anything left. But because Vatsim was kind of crazy, I checked it yesterday. There was like 1,900 connections on in the afternoon, which is double what there usually is, and in Europe it was just insane. It was like every bit of ATC was online, and I didn't want any part of that. It's guaranteed, because they were giving all the Cross the Pond traffic, like, obviously priority over everything else, so it's best to avoid that. Well, it's quite busy today actually. Amsterdam radar's also just popped online. So you've got Bremen, Amsterdam, and Langen radar all online. So it's very busy. And Hamburg Tower, and Frankfurt Tower, and Groningen approach. So there's an awful lot of ATC in the area. So maybe some actual ATC from Stuttgart will pop in. That'll be kind of nice. But we'll see. Oh, okay, the wind. Okay, the wind indicator's back working. I have no idea why it was broken briefly, but it's working again. Again, I struggle to understand that. You see, we're sitting here about 83% power. Mach decimal 76, pretty good. But yeah, pretty good flight this. We've already flown 160, actually 200 miles we've already flown. Got 570 to go, so still quite a way to go. Should be touching down in about an hour and 10 minutes. Again, that ETA is relying specifically on our current speed. Actually, maybe not, because my overlay here says 956. So the fact that this is saying 10:04 means it must be, you know, because the overlay ETA is solely based on how long is it to go, and like, so basically what speed are we going and what's the distance left, and it does basically a speed distance time calculation to work it out, which is very basic. So ETA is now saying 10:07, so it's got a bit later. I don't think we've slowed down. Our ground speed is high, 510 knots, crazy. That's fast. But yeah, I have a feeling that Bremen radar is going to go offline soon, sadly. I mean, they are just, you know, they're literally just, they've been online for an hour and 56 minutes, so I have a feeling that sooner or later they're probably going to go offline because they've been on for so long. 2 hours is usually the longest that an ATC stays online. So they might decide to stay online longer. I don't know. And then I'll keep an eye on Stuttgart all the time. There's actually a plane departing at the moment. Eurowings 2618. Hasn't filed a flight plan though, yet. Well, obviously they filed some kind of flight plan, but it looks like they're flying with, maybe it's two of them together, because there's someone else, there's another Eurowings that's flying to Tivat. So it's getting quite busy, Stuttgart, man. Maybe it's because of the ATC popping in. People on Vatsim, like, I don't really understand why they're like that. It's like they just see ATC and they instantly think, quick, take advantage of it, get ATC. Like, I generally plan where I'm going to fly beforehand, and then just fly it, and if there's ATC, great. That's usually how it works with me. Like, if I only flew in and out of the same You know, if I only flew in and out of exactly the same, like, if I only flew where ATC was, I'd end up flying in and out of the same airports all the time. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know, landing radar at the moment aren't even on our... They're not popping up on my X-Pilot yet, so they're out of range for now, I think. I will just check where we can be expected to be contacted by Bremen radar. We can be expected to be contacted at us. That's where we go into Bremen's airspace. In fact, now I'm actually going to go through a plan of our flight. It'll allow us to have a look at where Atos is, so you can see... Moving through the waypoints, there is Atos. Then we're on our route, pretty straightforward route really the whole way, and then descending into the airport. Pretty nice, so that's cool. I may just notice that Simbrief has put our aircraft equipment code as L, but obviously we don't have, which I think means you have to have VNAV, like RNAV with VNAV, but we don't actually have proper VNAV, do we? I'm pretty sure the real life Embraer 195 is like that anyway. It doesn't have 100% VNAV. I don't know, maybe it's more accurate than what this plane plans anyway. Probably is. But yeah, the route in today is looking very nice. Quite a nice, just chilled out routing really. Into Stuttgart. You can see our engine power's changing around a bit, which means that the estimated fuel on arrival's freaking out. Weirdly, our ETA, I've noticed, has been slipping quite quickly, actually. It was saying 10:07 not too long ago, and now it's saying 10:12. I mean, our overlay is saying 9:57, so that means 10:12 is okay. That's pretty good. That means it is factoring in a slowdown later on. I don't know, hopefully it sorts itself out. Again, I mean, things like the ETA and stuff in this plane don't matter quite as much. You need to have a plane with an accurate ETA if you're going to fly over the ocean. Or if you're going to... Yeah, that's basically it really. Fly over an ocean where you need to know your ETAs, but this plane would never do that. I mean, I think you can fly over to Reykjavik with this plane, with Fly UK. I think that is a route that they do. How far was that, actually? Because I think I was thinking of doing it today. But in the end, I went for Stuttgart. Because there's actually quite a lot of routes that you can do with this plane, which I really like. It's why one of the reasons why I bought the Embraer in the end. It was only like $30 as well. That was another one. So you can fly over to Reykjavik with this aircraft. It is 927 miles, so it's a little bit further, but still not like really far. But it's further than where we're going. I mean, today we're going to Stuttgart, which is about 800 miles. We could have also gone to Warsaw. That would have been 700 miles. Riga is another one, but went to Riga a couple of streams ago, so I didn't feel like going there. Copenhagen, I'd like to go to Copenhagen. I've never actually been there in the sim. St. Petersburg, another one that we could go to. 700 miles as well. So there's a lot of destinations. It basically took over the 737-700 operations at Nordic Sky, and then they added a few extras as well, which was really nice. Tromsø. You can also actually go up to Longyearbyen, which is that the world's most northerly... it's not a city, is it? It's not a city. I think it's a settlement. It's a town, but it is... I think it is actually one of the most northern towns in the world. But I would definitely like to go there in flight sim. I mean, from Bergen it's quite a long flight. It's 1,100 miles, but you can actually fly from Tromsø as well with this plane, because this plane has a couple of routes out of Helsinki and whatever. So there's actually a few different things. But yeah, we'll definitely fly this aircraft more on stream. I'd like to. That is certain. See, our ETA is now saying 10:09. That ETA is seriously making me wonder It doesn't seem to be very accurate. Like, our speed hasn't changed at all. And yeah, it's consistently getting later. That is. We're going very quickly though. Look at like how quickly all the miles are going down. I mean, look at that. 513 knots ground speed. That's nice. That's fast. That's a very fast plane. Blanken radar, I'm now in range of. Bremen radar still not offline, but they have now been on for exactly just over 2 hours. So I thought that they would have gone offline by now, unless they are staying on for longer than 2 hours, which is possible. Obviously not until Atos that we are in their airspace, and I can't see Atos on my nav display here, so it'll be quite a while, I think. Still got 4 minutes until the next waypoint. Oh, there you go, that's gone back to 10:08 now, so maybe it's stabilised a bit. Actually, yeah, because it was saying 10:12 a minute ago, wasn't it? It went from like 10:07 to like 10:12. Okay, I think that ETA is mildly broken. We'll just take it to be roughly 10 past 10 Zulu. Again, you can't take everything this plane says to be the most accurate thing in the world. It's a very old plane, this, actually. I mean, its last update was about 2 years ago, and that was basically just the load planner that was updated. It wasn't really anything else that got updated. We'll have to have a look. But obviously it's a lovely plane. Like, I chose it over the SSG one just because I had heard that it was better. I mean, I just like it because of how cheap it is. I mean, you can get literally the E195 on its own for $28. It's crazy. And then if you want the E195 and the E175, it's $38. Which is still really good. It's supposed to be a lot more, but it is. They are on sale because they've got the new E-Jets coming. They're permanently on sale. But yeah, this thing's last update was... yeah, it was 3 years ago, basically. It was July 2018, and that was the load planner update. And there was a couple of FMS changes. And then there was 2.3. Okay, there's quite a few. But yeah, the last update was coming up on 3 years ago. But hopefully, sooner or later, there will be the new aircraft coming. If you go to the coming soon page on xplane.org, there is some cool stuff. Right, the 787. Honestly, I'm so looking forward to the flight back to 787. That's going to be amazing. But yeah, the E-Jets family is saying at the moment on xplane.org mid-2021. That's what it's saying. But obviously, I don't think that's even an official release date. I think that's just a rough guide, I'm pretty sure. Definitely don't take it too accurately. That's not the next way. That's not Atos, is it? That waypoint. Asmus. Oh, Atos is there. Look, so about 80 miles away then from being in range of Bremen radar. They're not offline yet. I honestly thought they'd be offline after 2 hours, but no. And also, Stuttgart ATIS has just popped up. Runway 07 is in use. Wind is 0405 knots. QNH 1022. Transition level, is not actually given. Oh, there it is. 60. It's a bit earlier on in the ATIS than usual. So transition level is 60. 6,000 feet. So it's good to have an ATIS. It means we know what runway we're planning. And yeah, so actually, once we pop onto Bremen radar, we should actually have full ATC all the way down, which will be cool. So what I'm going to do now, just before we start getting, busy with ATC, I'm going to go ahead and put up all of our, basically I'm going to put up, actually one thing I do need to do, I need to go into KRH and just modify the waypoint so it says 9,000 or above. Actually, you can't do that, I forget. So we're just going to leave it. We know we need to be above 9,000 at KRH, basically, which should be okay. Anyway, that aside, we'll go ahead and basically get all the arrival stuff done now. bit earlier than I usually would, but because we can't use the comms and the nav at the same... We can use them at the same time, but... Yeah, it doesn't really matter, it's just good to have it plugged in now. So 109.5 is going to be our nav frequency, and the course, so what you want to do for the course is press heading, select heading, and then whack it over to, is it HS, no, there you go, bearing mode, and what we want to do is flip the course round to 072, just 72, there we go, 72, that's now set in there, and then what I'm going to do is put it back over to FMS mode, and then enable navigation again, and then we're all good. So everything's all set in there. And we're all good. And that is that. The decision height is going to be, again, I think this thing only does it in terms of radio, decision height. I don't think it's able to do decision altitude. I haven't seen a way to swap them anyway. So that's my assumption, is that you can't. Oh, there you go, yeah, look, DH and Barrow, look, there is a way to swap them, but I can't find it. Look, there's nothing, so it appears that DH is the only one that works. The DH is 200, so that's 200 feet radio altitude. It's, yeah, I would like to set Barrow, but I said, even though this says Barrow, it doesn't seem like there's a button anywhere to swap it. So if anyone knows a way to do that, let me know. And then once we touch down on runway 07, we're going to go ahead and vacate to the left, I think, and park up in, well, I don't know if we have any set stands. Usually we do have set stands for Nordic Sky. No, none today. So we'll probably take like stand 29 or 28. I'm actually quite familiar with this airport because I've controlled it on Tower 3D Pro before. So that's kind of interesting. A bit of a bonus, I suppose. Right, we're quite close to Atos now, about 40 miles away from it. And then we'll be getting ATC, so that'll be nice. So they are still online. They've been online for 2 hours and 10 minutes now, which is quite a while for an ATC controller. So, you know, we'll have to keep an eye on if the fact that they descend at any point, not descend, go off line at any point. We'll see. Hopefully not. It's always good if that isn't the case. Approaching Syria now, that's our next waypoint. See, ETA is now saying 10:04, so our ETA is 110% broken. It has no clue what it's doing, clearly. I will just keep an eye on the fact that we're on course, so we're 43 minutes in and we're passing Syria. So it's a good way to tell whether we're going too quickly or too slowly, how the live weather's doing. So Syria is meant to be at 42 minutes and we're 43 minutes in. So we're pretty much bang on time with that, which is good. We've already flown 342 miles, only 430 to go. So we're slowly, slowly getting rid of the miles. And having a look at the, so I want to have a look quickly at the descent profile, and Simbrief thinks, for once actually, the Simbrief profile looks quite good. Usually it's not that accurate, but because it's actually planned our full arrival, it's actually a pretty decent one. So this is saying we should descend basically at Bombi. I think that's where we're going to descend, around Bombi. How far is Bombi from the airport? I will just have a quick look. Is that only 107 miles? Oh, that's only 107 miles from the airport. That's not really, yeah. I'd be tempted to say Sogmi. Sogmi is a better waypoint for the start of the descent. Really. We'll see what happens. Obviously our descent may just be given to us by the controller as well. That is possible. Might be the first time I've properly flown this aircraft with ATC, I think. All the other times I've flown it, I haven't really had much, either no ATC or... Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, I don't even think I have had any ATC. It's because we're flying to Germany. There's never much ATC in Scandinavia on Vatsim, but I mean maybe sometimes, but it's rarer. In Germany, it's very common. Germany's always one of the busiest places for ATC, and just in general on Vatsim. The UK and Germany, they are the two best places to go flying when it's morning time in Europe. That's a bit of a weird thing. So according to this plane, 165 miles should take us 95 minutes. So yeah, oh, there we go. We've just got a contact message. That always surprises me, that contact message. 125.02, we've just gone over to that. And next up, which is Langen radar, that'll be on 123.75. No, 123.27. There. And this is Bremen radar. Bremen radar, good morning. Skyways 5023, flight level 370.
Skyways 572, correction 5023, Bremen radar, hello, squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000, Skyways 5023. And you may notice, guys, that the audio sounds a bit different there
on
Vatsim. Because I've enabled realistic audio effects, I found for quiet controllers, it makes the controllers a lot louder. But when you've got a controller that's already loud, you do need to turn it off. Because some people are too loud. So what it does, it basically mutes the game sound a little bit, which is useful. But I've got to turn it off and on, because I was flying through... France at one point, and there was a controller on Eurocontrol that was really loud, and with realistic audio effects, it was deafening. You had to turn it off. But it's nice to have some ATC, some background noise as well. It's always good. It's quite a quiet plane, this in general as well, so it's quite easy to hear ATC.
Alpine 5 November Hotel.
Okay, someone's not responding. Oh dear. So, it's in the new... I need to do that, by the way. We need to go to the new Berlin airport.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that next week, actually. I hadn't decided what flight I was going to do totally. I was going to do Copenhagen to Stanford, but I wasn't 100% sure next week, so maybe.
Radar, Echo Tango X-ray 265, standing by for descent.
Echo Tango 265, roger, expect ILS approach, runway 32, descent flight level 60.
60, expect ILS 32, Echo Tango X-ray 265.
Yeah, I do really like this Embraer 195, it's a lovely aircraft. And we are pretty much halfway through the flight now, which is nice. ETA is now saying 10:05, so I'm pretty sure every time I've looked at this ETA, it's been a different number. And it's been as early as 10:05 and as late as 10:12.
2244, turn left.
Just confused at this point.
Turn left heading 360.
Really confused by it at this point. Oh, just knock the auto brakes, put that back to off. We actually never got told by the controller that we were identified. So, because I was expecting something, but never mind, doesn't really matter. And you can see now I'm about to fly over Hamburg quite soon. There's the planes on the ground in Hamburg showing up on my TCAS, which is quite annoying, but I guess there's nothing we can do about that, is there?
1026, Lufthansa Juju.
There's nothing I can do about the planes showing up like that. What on earth is going on there? I've just noticed the VOR counter for the minutes is bugging out.
5023 identified, proceed direct Whiskey Romeo Bravo.
Proceed direct Whiskey Romeo Bravo, Skyways 5023. Okay, we've been giving a direct then, so what I'm going to do is go to flight plan, and then go to Whiskey Romeo Bravo, and... where is the direct button? I'm positive there was a direct button. Well, I thought there was a direct button, like a direct intersection button. No, was that not a thing? Rip. I thought there was a direct intersection button. No, is there seriously not one? I thought there was a direct...
Lufthansa 2244, descent 3000 feet.
I'm positive there was a direct button.
3000 feet, Lufthansa 2244.
Right, what I'm going to do, I don't know why, I'm positive that there is a direct button on this aircraft, but I can't find it. I mean, it's not it there. That's it there. Done it. Oh, that took a bit too long. I thought it said direct intersection, the button, but actually it's just an arrow. So we've gone direct to Whiskey Romeo Bravo. That's cut out a little bit of our flight, which is kind of quite nice. Cut out a few miles. Puts us a bit closer to bit of a less of a flight time then. It's going to take us 22 minutes to do that, so quite a long gap between waypoints there. You can see this thing's doing a bit of an odd turn. That's just this plane doing what it does.
Lufthansa 2244, turn left heading 250, cleared.
For some reason our ETA is now 10:27. No idea why that's happened. I seriously, honestly, this plane confuses me with its nonsense with the ETAs. They're just totally inaccurate. It's totally stupid.
Turn left, heading 250.
So now if you look at our flight plan, you can see we're going direct to WRB, Whiskey Romeo Bravo.
27 left.
27 left. Lufthansa 2244.
Yeah, that took far too long to go direct.
Echo Tango X-ray.
And I finally found the button.
3000 feet, QNH.
Once we found it, we're okay. And then hopefully the ETA will sort itself out. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't know.
Echo Tango X-ray 265 via Oldip, cleared LS approach, runway.
But yeah, it's cut out a couple of miles from our flight, that has.
Roger,
Which
sir.
is nice.
All the cleared Tyler 32. We'll report when established.
Well, the slight turn has meant we're now only doing 495 knots. But never mind. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the ETA, but we'll just ignore the ETA, I think. Something tells me that it's quite broken.
Lufthansa 2244, really sorry. You said RLS approach 27 left, right?
Affirm, 27 left.
But we've been given a little bit of a shortcut, which is good. It's not a massive shortcut, but a small one. It's cut out a lot of waypoints. I think it's where we head over into the next centre. That's why he was only able to make us go that far. It's where we switch over to... Yeah, it's just before where we switch over to Langen. That's why. And they're the next ATC frequency on today's route. And they'll be assigning us all our arrival stuff, I think. Stuttgart's become quite busy now, actually. There's 5 planes on the ground now, 4 departing. 1 that's landed. Weirdly, it's a Lufthansa 737 that's on the ground. It's just landed. Bit of an odd one. Anyway, but yeah, nice to get that shortcut. It's always good to get a little shortcut from ATC. They'll always do it if they can. No idea what's going on with the ETA. Hopefully that will sort itself out, but you never know. It probably won't. This plane is it's a bit odd. Let's just say that. It's quite an odd plane at times. Yeah, so we'll be with this guy now for the next 18 minutes, and then it'll be on to Langen radar, which we already have pre-tuned, 12327, and we have Stuttgart ATIS, which I'm able to grab. I'm able to grab the digital ATIS for that. Once we're in range anyway, we're not in range of it yet.
Passing 1,800, climbing 5,000.
Switch 1 Romeo Golf, Radar Moin, identified, climb, flight level 240.
Climb level 240 to Jet on Romeo Golf.
Langen radar, good morning, Lufthansa 139er, passing flight level 25.
But yeah, our ETA is now back to 10:23, so it slowly seems to be recovering that ETA. I don't know. Again, I have no idea what causes the ETA to go funny. It just seems to go a bit old sometimes. Who knows?
Lufthansa 139er.
I I'm just wondering actually, can you change the star that you're using in this aircraft?
Don't have you on my radar screen. What is your
I'm guessing you can, right?
Inbound Ronan.
If we get given a different star later.
At the destination airport is? I apologize. 1 second.
Wait, what? Was that guy just requesting an airport, and he asked him for the destination airport, and he didn't know where it was? Have I got that right? That's what it sounded like. I hope that wasn't the case. How do you fly somewhere and you don't know where it is?
Lufthansa 133, passing flight level 230 descending. Can check your frequency please, you're on Bremen radar frequency currently. Leipzig 110 4, Unicom 122.8. Unicom 122.8.
It's nice actually, these realistic audio effects. Obviously, when we listen to the next controller, the Langen radar one, he may end up being really loud, in which case we'll have to turn it off. It just depends on... Some ATC controllers, their mics are so loud that you need to have it turned off, and sometimes they're so quiet that you need to have it turned on. It's kind of weird. It's like an individual ATC setting. You just keep turning it off and on. Luckily, as soon as you hit that button, the disable realistic audio effects, it actually does it instantly, which is really cool. You don't have to restart it or disconnect and connect. You don't even have to wait for the next transmission to start. It's just instant, which is really good. If it was a setting that was a bit of a pain to change, then that would be a really annoying thing.
Bremen Radar Echo Tango X-ray 265 on the localizer 32 visual contact.
Echo Tango X-ray 265, roger, wind 0706 knots, runway 32.
Approaching an hour into the flight now.
Clear to land 32 Echo
Only
Tango X-ray
315 miles to go, so not too far.
Golf, proceed direct to Remet.
Direct to Remet, Richard von Romeo Golf.
Yeah, it's a lovely plane this, I enjoy flying it. It's a bit different, you know, it's not an Airbus, not a Boeing, it's kind of its own thing, it's a little bit different. It's also slightly more difficult to drive as well. Did I say drive? I don't know if I said drive then, I mean fly. If I'd said drive, who knows. But yeah, it's slightly more difficult to fly, and that makes it better. You know, it's just something interesting.
Speedbird 12 Papa, Unicom 122.8. Rainer 1 Foxtrot Hotel, Bremen radar identified. Speedbird 12 Papa. Lufthansa 244, taxi to gate 5 via Alpha, Charlie and Alpha 1.
Taxi to gate 5 via Alpha, Charlie and Alpha 1. Lufthansa 2244.
Right, it's a bit cloudy down there. The weather down in Stuttgart is still looking nice. Clouds and visibility okay, which is cool. 11 degrees, so it's not really cold, but it's not exactly warm either. It's just kind of, it's very calm weather really, and the wind is only, what, 5 knots.
We'll reconnect. There's a problem with my flight simulator. See you soon.
Roger. Bremen radar, guten Morgen, Alpine 5 number hotel.
We're less than 300 miles now.
3,200.
Just crossed under that. I like seeing the actual distance to a destination go down so quickly like that, because like you see the decimal point as well. It's kind of cool.
Jet 1 Romeo Golf, climb flight level 270.
Climb level 270 to Jet 1 Romeo Golf.
And this thing is trying to get us to descend 115 miles out, which I think is a little bit late. I'm going to probably start a descent about 10 miles before that. So my initial plan was to start descending at a little bit earlier than Simbrief said, so somewhere between Sogmi and Bombi was my rough plan to descend. That's about 130 miles out from the airport. I mean, the minimum for 37,000 feet, so 37 times 3, The minimum descent is 110 miles.
Proceed direkt Salo.
But obviously we have got restrictions. We need to be above 4,000 at Veta, and we have to be, so we have to be above 4,000. Really, at 4,000 is what I'd like at Veta. So at 4,000 at Veta, which is, we can have a quick look. So Veta is 12 miles from the airport. So that means that Sogmi is 124 miles from Veta, and we have to drop 33,000 feet, so 33 times 3. The minimum is going to be not 100 miles out. We'll add 20, so that's 120 miles from Veta. We'll start our descent, which will be about 5. Okay, so it'll be, let's say 20 miles from Bombi. We'll start our descent, roughly 20 miles from Bombi. We'll have a look. But Bombi's not for a while yet. It's one of our last waypoints. A little bit later on. It's waypoint number. There you go. Waypoint number 32, and we're on waypoint number 27. So still a bit of a wait. And obviously we'll have to wait as well. We may get given, because I did change my star to an. Basically, it's a star. It's known as a star on charts and for the airplane, but it's kind of a transition. It basically takes you direct to the ILS from a waypoint, and it's always quicker than the stars in Germany. It's what they use. It's what they use. ATC usually, but not always. It's very busy in Stuttgart. Very busy today. Quite a few planes leaving the airport. Obviously, we'll have Langen radar to control it. So it's nice to have quite a large amount of ATC today. It's always good. I'm surprised Bremen radar's still online. They've been online for like 2.5 hours now. Yeah, exactly 2.5 hours in fact. Langen radar's only been online 40 minutes, so they should be okay. Gatwick's actually quite quiet today. They've only got ground online down there, so it's surprisingly quiet. How's the US? Because I almost never fly in the US. Yeah, okay, there's nothing. Whenever I fly in the US, there's never ATC, and it's like that today. Because sometimes I get a bit. Sometimes the one time I don't fly in the US is when it gets really busy, which is always quite annoying.
Hello, Alpine 3 November Mike, climbing 200 feet.
Alpine 3 November Mike, Brim radar, header identified, climb flight level 160.
Flight level 160 for Alpine 3 November Mike.
Europe Control, good morning, Lufthansa 519 on...
Take a quick look outside, I think. It's nice. Go free camera, off the plane, zoom away.
Squawk 2470, Lufthansa 519.
It's a fast plane. Look, I mean, that's what I kind of like about the free camera. You actually get to see how fast these planes are. They're quick planes.
Direct fellow for Alpine 3 November Mike, thank you.
Lufthansa 519, request descent.
See, we're only 250 miles away now, so we'll be descending soon.
Yeah, negative. You're far out. You don't need any descent.
Probably still just over 100 miles. Did someone just say they were out of fuel? Or did I mishear that? I'm seriously wondering now if someone did say that. Apparently there's a plane that's only 32 feet away from us. Wait, what? Oh, Yeah, it means 3,000. I always get confused.
Alpine 5 November Hotel, confirmed.
Man, this TCAS is annoying me. There's no point in even having it. It displays planes on the ground. Is the real life one like that in the Embraer? I don't know. I don't imagine it would be. It's a Speedbird 787 from Bangkok to Heathrow. So I love the 787. I can't wait for the flight factor, because the Magnite one is well, from what I've heard from people, is not that good. And I've seen YouTube videos and tutorials. I've been looking around because I really want to get the Magnite, but it's just doesn't seem that good. So sadly, seems you have to wait for a decent 787 next plane. Weirdly, I can't actually see that Speedbird. I mean, it's 3,000 feet above me, so that might be why. I mean, see, our ETA is now fixed again. It's now saying 10 past 10. So our ETA has slowly fixed itself again. Kind of weird what's going on with that, but hopefully, yeah. Oh, there you go, the direct intersection look was on this FMC. That's why I got confused. And I thought it was here. That's why I got confused.
On the Vatsim network. Contact now Amsterdam radar 125.75. Goodbye.
125.75, Ryanair 1 Foxtrot Hotel, cheers.
Can't see that Speedbird anywhere, sadly.
November Mike, climb flight of 360.
Well, we passed off to Langen radar in about 5 minutes, I suspect, which is on 123.275. Right now in Stuttgart is Information Romeo. Well, there is now new weather that's just come through. 12 degrees, it's a bit warmer, but the rest of the weather remains the same. Right, also what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a quick look at what our plan is for the arrival in terms of speeds and the like. So we get to see here. So icing is there's our predicted landing weight. We're going to be using a flaps 4 arrival today, so it'll be 139 knots landing speed. So you can see there, flaps 4 of 6 is what's usually used. So yeah, flap 4 landing today. Just good to get just to know what we're going to be using. And then yeah, 139, that won't change because that's using our final landing weight rather than our current weight, so that shouldn't change. So we'll just keep that number in our mind. 139 knots is what we need later on for landing. See, our ETA seems to have fixed now. It's saying 10:08, so there you go. It's taken a bit of time, but our ETA has got there, and it's fixed itself. You can see we're an hour and 8 minutes into the flight now, obviously because we're using chrono. I tend to use extra time for the flight timing on Flight Sim, just so I can know exactly how many hours it is instantly, but it seems as if...
Skywest 5023, proceed direct Karlsruhe, Kilo Romeo Hotel.
Proceed direct Kilo Romeo Hotel. Oh, Kilo Romeo Echo, Skyways 5023.
Negative, Kilo Romeo Hotel.
Kilo Romeo Hotel, Skyways 5023, thanks. Okay, so we've been given, I don't know why I just forgot what the name of, I don't know why, but I was positive that the name of that waypoint was Kilo Romeo Echo for some reason. Right, direct Kilo Romeo Hotel, direct executed, and that's massively shortened our flight now. Again, so we should be descending. This actually makes our descent plans a bit more interesting. So the plan was to descend 120 miles from Veta, which is 132 miles from the airport. So 132, so it's about 90 miles from KRH we're descending, roughly. So about 90 miles off from KRH, so we'll be descending in about 75 miles. That's actually a bit early, unless that doesn't work. I probably added a lot wrong.
230.
We've been given a lot of directs today.
2304 initially, yeah, plus 126.
So you can see the top of descent in 92 miles. I think what this plane's calculated as a top of descent is actually pretty good. So we'll probably, you know, usually this thing's top of descent calculations are terrible, but they actually seem okay today, which is quite weird. I don't know, who knows.
Bremen, good morning, the Lufthansa Flight 3 with you, available 240 inbound.
So I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, it won't be 90 miles out.
Hello, identified. Lufthansa Flight 3.
Yeah, we've been given a lot of shortcuts today. Hopefully that makes our route a little bit shorter. And you can see again, it's bugged out the ETA yet again, so hopefully that'll fix eventually.
Landing in Hanover. Expect Silence Zulu approach runway 27 left. Expect Zulu approach runway 27 left. Thank you, Lufthansa 519er, descent flight level 250. Descending flight level 250, Lufthansa 519. F1 126, what is the next waypoint?
Lovely looking plane this, the E195. I do really like it.
Second, please.
It's
Your
nice.
next waypoint?
Our next waypoint will be Alpha, Echo Lima, Sierra, Oscar, Bravo.
Roger, but this isn't...
So I was thinking we should descend about 70 miles from now. So,
you
yeah.
may double check it again.
Let's say 85 miles
Okay,
from Karlsruhe is the name of this field.
So
about 85 miles from it.
Negative?
We should be passed on to Langen radar fairly soon. Stuttgart's busy, there's 5 planes on the ground there now, so
Jet 1 Romeo Golf, direct Kirax.
interesting.
Direct to Kirax to Jet 1 Romeo Golf.
We have now got the digital ATIS as well for Stuttgart. It's currently Information Sierra down there. Runway in use is still runway 07. Transition flight level is 60. So we should be passed on to Langen radar any moment now. We're just about to head into their airspace, so just waiting. And then, oh,
Contact Langen Radar 123, estimate 275.
Langen radar 123-275, Skyway 5023. Bye bye.
Speedbird 10.
Okay, so over to Langen radar now. Langen radar, good morning. Skyways 5023, flight level 370. Inbound Kilo Romeo Hotel.
Skyways 5023, Langen radar identified.
Okay, we've been identified, so there we go. Oh, I keep messing up the name of this waypoint. I couldn't see it. I couldn't quite tell whether it was Kilo Romeo Kilo or... No, if I zoom in, I could see it. Wow. Oh, it's wrong.
Make it right.
This is literally the waypoint that's being used for my star, and I still can't see what's going on. I still can't remember the name of it. Anyway, never mind. I'm surprised I haven't memorised the name of it by now. Kilo Romeo Hotel.
Radar frequency 1.
Yeah, this guy sounds okay with the realistic audio effects as well.
125025, 950 vision darkness.
See, without it, I bet he sounds too quiet. I'll check it now. When the ATC starts talking, we'll see. So he's much quieter. So the realistic audio effect seems to make people louder, which is cool. We're getting that weird tile loading bug with X-Plane right now. You can see that it looks like there's sea ahead of us. That's land. It's just a weird bug. See, if I move the camera like that, it loads in. It's a weird bug with X-Plane, it really annoys me. I don't know what happens. It's quite a common issue. I'm expecting we'll be given our arrival clearance pretty soon, because we're only 170 miles from Stuttgart now, so not that far to run. And we've been given quite a few shortcuts on today's flight, really, which is nice, as always. And yeah, we'll be descending in around about 40 miles, so not very long to go now till our descent, and, you know, hopefully the ATC are... Hopefully we'll get some kind of thing from them. Someone else has just logged on to Bremen Radar now, actually, so it looks like they're going to do a swap over. So one control leaves, and then the next one joins. So it's always really good, actually. There's been a lot of ATC coverage in Germany today. I do always enjoy flying in Germany. They've got nice, quite well-structured, like, you know, stars and SIDs, and they've got quite nice airports. And there's always ATC online. But there's also plenty of choice of airports, like Munich, Berlin, Frankfurt, obviously Stuttgart, Hamburg. There's always quite a lot going on. Nuremberg, that's a nice airport. There's a lot in Germany to do. Cologne, there's a lot of them. Alright, so we should be descending now in just about 35 miles, roughly. We're going to basically descend about 10 miles before the plane is telling us to. But we haven't been given any kind of arrival clearance yet, which is quite interesting. Usually they'd give you a star. But they haven't given us one. You see that massive planes there? That's Frankfurt Airport, because I said that's the downside. What, you know, of this T-class displaying planes on the ground is when you go over an airport that's busy, you end up with that, which is just a big block of planes. But sadly, it doesn't seem like there's a way I can turn that off.
016, turn left heading 100,
So, oh well.
Alpha 0160, descend 4,000 feet, QNH 1024.
I'm expecting we'll be given some kind of clearance pretty soon for arrival. If not, I guess we'll just request descent with what we've currently planned. I would actually check, because I can check my flight plan on Vatsim to see if they've changed it. It updates, basically. So when they change my flight plan, it updates on Vatsim, and at the moment it's still saying that I'm doing the Kilo Romeo Hotel 1 Echo arrival, which is what we've planned. So, but usually once they edit it, they add a letter next to it. For example, there's a Lufthansa just landing into Frankfurt, and they've added /07 right to the end of his flight plan, and I can then see that, because that means he's using 07 right. They've given him that runway so that other controllers know. I mean, our descent's not quite yet, but it's soon. Remember, we're at 37,000 feet, so it's quite a way to start ascending. But we're going to aim to be at about 10,000 feet at KRH. Simbrief is planning for us to be at 15,000. That's a bit high. Simbrief always gets you to do quite a, so we'll plan it. So say we want to be at 12,000. That means we have to drop 25,000 feet. So 25 times 3 means we have to descend 75 miles. We'll say 26. So 78 miles. So we'll say 80. Is minimum descent. 80 miles minimum. So really we want to be descending in about 10 miles or so. But I'm still waiting for any kind of arrival clearance. But obviously they might give it to us in the descent, but usually they would give it to you about 150 miles from the airport. But obviously that point has already passed by now, so we know that isn't the case. But because this plane gives you an ETA in minutes as well, you can use that to plot your descent as well. So say we want to do 2,000 feet per minute times 13 minutes, that means we can drop 26,000 feet in the time. Obviously, though, that is based on our current speed, so when we start descending and then slowing down, that will change. But yeah, we need to descend now, basically. We'll request descent now, I think.
Golf 016, speed 170 knots until 5 miles final.
As soon as the frequency's clear.
With Super 6.
I think that was someone requesting something.
5023, descend flight
Oh.
level 250.
Descend flight level 250, Skyways 5023. Perfect, we were just about to request descent, and we just got given it. So, down to 25,000 feet, and we're going to go with about a 2,200 feet per minute vertical speed, roughly. And then we're going to stick at Mach decimal 76 until we pass 285 knots, in which case then I'll make that the required speed. You can see there, about 2,200 feet per minute. I think that should be a pretty good level to descend at, for now anyway. And then we'll obviously maybe change it up later on if it becomes an issue. But yeah, in the end, so that's the thing as well, having a plane that doesn't actually do descent calculations, when you have ATC, they generally tell you when to descend anyway. It's quite funny that I was literally just about to request descent, and then they're like, oh, you can descend now. So, it's funny. It's like they knew what I was thinking. And then, yeah, I'll keep an eye on our descent, just to make sure that... But for now, I think 2,200 feet per minute should be a pretty good descent rate. We'll just keep an eye on it. That's why I like planes like this. They require a little bit more thinking to fly. All brakes we're going to set medium for arrival. It's generally what I set in this plane. It's quite a long runway though. How long is it? It's 11,000 feet, but obviously the earlier we vacate, the less of a taxi we have. Although Delta is the fast exit taxi, that's the first one. And Echo is the first taxiway we can actually vacate on, so we don't want to slow down too much. But I think from what I remember with this plane, the low auto brakes don't really do anything. It's one of those planes, you have low auto brakes and they just do nothing. So we'll probably stick to medium. I'm going to go down to 40 nautical mile range on here, so we can't see the arrival pop up on our screen really quickly. So obviously, only 110 miles to go now, not too far to run. This flight's gone really quickly actually. Usually, you know, flights that are an hour and 40 minutes long, 2 hours, I tend to find they drag a little bit. But actually, I mean, it's probably, I don't know why. Whenever you have a tailwind, even if it only makes a 10-15 minute difference to your flight, it feels like the flight goes so much quicker with a tailwind than it does with a headwind. It's weird. It looks all misty around us because that's because the tile wasn't loading in properly, and then once you start flying over that tile, it starts to load in quite a misty way, slowly, and then eventually, once I think it's caused by like a terrain issue. I think there's like a terrain that kind of overlaps, and then once you pass that issue, then the tile loads in as it's supposed to again. It's quite an annoying bug, but hopefully it'll be fixed sooner or later. But I don't think they've announced any plans to fix it just yet. Because it is quite annoying as a bug. And yeah, at the moment we've only been cleared down to flight level 250, so we'll just go down to that initially. We're 100 miles away, so we're a little bit, maybe a little bit low. I don't really know. I think we'll just keep this for now, and then we'll start to adjust it later on if we think we're too low. Obviously, it's much better to be slightly too low than slightly too high. If you're too high, then it's a problem of trying to get the plane slowed down enough. But if you're too low, you can just kind of sit on quite a nice, gentle descent for a little bit, like 1,000 feet per minute, to catch back up with what you need to be doing. So for now, we will just keep it like this. We've actually just passed 290 knots as well. So what I'm going to do, go over to speed mode and slow it to 285 knots. And the plane's going to basically idle itself then.
Tweeted 1 Romeo Golf, descent flight level 80.
And I'm going to go into the performance now, and I'm going to adjust the power, so this plane has toga power available to it. Obviously that is if we need to do a go-around or something, for example. We're going to want full engine power, because we're not going to be using... We're not going to need to be hitting a maximum power limit
700 feet for 4,000.
other than that, now.
Sonderfahrer Zulu, hallo nochmal. Identified, climb flight level 320
Because most of the time we're going to pretty much idle or very low power.
320 direct Bhopal, Nana Papa Zulu.
Right, we're almost at flight level 250. We have only been told to descend that far so far. I think they'll probably give us either vectors or another, you know, an idea of our arrival once we get there. I don't know. They still haven't said. There's 6 planes on the ground in Stuttgart, so it's actually very busy down there, which is kind of quite surprising. But yeah, we may end up being held at flight level 250 for a bit. We are currently 85 miles out from the airport, so I think that's a pretty good distance to be.
Skyways 5023, descend flight level 110.
Descend flight level 110, Skyways 5023. So they're giving us further now. 110, there it is, set in there. And now I'll just keep an eye on the descent. At the moment we're 7 miles from, so we can drop 14,000 feet. A little bit more than 14,000 in that time. So that means that we should easily be about 10,000 at KRH, which is what we're planning. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the feet per minute now to 2,000. I think that will be good. That means we can drop 14,000. So in 6 minutes we can drop 12,000, which will mean we are pretty much bang on. Remember, as we slow down, that is going to get a little bit closer. Because at the moment our ground speed is falling. It was 450 knots a minute ago, and now it's only 424 knots. And that will keep happening as we get lower. And you can see they go. But now past whatever that problem was in the terrain, that meant we couldn't see the tile, and it's now all loaded in, which is good. It's quite an annoying bug with X-Plane. I really wish it wouldn't do that, but it does, sadly. It does happen. Well, you can view a status of the aircraft look, and you can view... It's cool, like the amount of little things you can look. Wait, is that the time? Yeah, I think that's the time. It said flight and then 11 hours 53, and I was like, what? We haven't been flying for 11 hours 53 minutes. What are you on about? I was quite surprised by that. But yeah, we're looking pretty good for our target. I think we're actually going to go back up to 2,200 feet per minute. Just looking at it, as soon as we hit a point where would just make 10,000 in time, it starts to the ETA gets 1 minute less. So I think we'll, just to be sure, so it's better to be lower. It's better to be too low than too high. We've got quite a nice set of arrival restrictions if we do take the Carl's rear 1 Echo, which is what we're planning. We'll get the CFAR times on pretty soon. Make sure that everybody is seated back there. All 58 of them, if I remember that correctly. Are there 58? Yeah, there are. Wow. Cool. 58 people. Can't view the weight and balance thing while we're in the air, actually. Wait, how do I cross up? Whoa. How did I cross off that checklist? Did I just... Oh, just hitting the corner of it. There's no like cross off button. Right, just check the weather one more time. For Stuttgart, it hasn't updated yet, but we should have some new weather fairly soon for 9:50 Zulu rather than 9:20 Zulu. And we need to remember the transition level is 60, and we're going to... Oh, every now and then the QNH just changes to 1014. I don't know why. It just does. Might be a bug, or maybe I'm it could also be that I'm just accidentally hitting it every now and then. That's possible. But yeah, I think we're doing pretty good here. Our speed has dropped off nicely. In 4 minutes at this descent rate, we should easily be able to cover about 8,000 feet. So we should be, you know, just a little bit more than 8,000 feet. So that means that we'll be easily at 11,000 in time, which is what we want. We want to be hitting about 11,000 at this waypoint, roughly. You can see there on nav 109.5. We'll go ahead and actually activate that now because we're close enough that we may as well activate it. It's picked up one called ISTE, which is the one that we're looking for. Let's have a quick check, make sure it's working good, which it is. And you can see we're 46 miles out from the airport. That is direct, remember, we've still got we're actually more like 60 miles away.
Expect ILS 07.
Expect ILS 07, Skyways 5023.
2 Jet 1, Romeo Golf, expect ILS 07 right.
So 07, which is what we're planning already. We'll probably be given vectors, I suspect, now.
Langradar, einen sonnigen Sonntagmorgen. Friese 4-1 Formation.
Friese 4-1, Langradar, moin.
Ja, das ist Friese 4-1 Formation, bestehend aus 3 Friesen. Aus der Friese 4-1, Friese...
Well, I'm going to begin to start slowing down the aircraft now as well.
Friese 7-6. Mit Information... Sierra...
So we'll deploy the speed brakes a little bit.
Nach Zürich. Bitten Abflugunformationen und wir sind rollbereit.
That'll just allow us to slow down a little bit. We'll do it quite gently to make sure the plane can still maintain 2,200 feet per minute.
Sierra ist korrekt, rollen Sie zum Rollerbisse 07 über November und in die Richtigung über November und Hotel.
We're just slowing down, make sure we can hit that 11, that flight level 110 in time.
Und Hotel Friese Fliegerformation.
Okay, we'll get rid of the speed brakes, and you can see 270 knots we've successfully slowed down to.
Control, hello, this is
cool.
126, maintaining flight level 250.
Just keep slowing down to make sure we can hit that 250 knots in time a bit later.
23.275.
Seatbelt signs can come on now. Oh, that was a bit loud then.
6 Langradar identified.
Wow.
Correction cleared. Kerax 1 Delta arrival. Descent to reach flight level 110.
And then we'll do a little bit of speed brakes again. Okay, we won't need to use too much because once we're at 11,000 we can just level off and use that to slow down.
6 negative. Cleared Kerax 1 Delta arrival. Descent to reach flight level 110 at Kerax.
After Air France 126, we have a problem with our navigation system, so requesting radar vectors for ILS runway 25 Charlie.
Air France 126, please check ATIS in from the latest ATIS for Frankfurt. Runway 25 is not open.
Right, down to 245.
Alright,
Line lights on. And then the plane will be able to slow itself down now. As we slow, and hopefully we'll be given further descent then. And we see we've hit it just before Kilo Romeo Hotel, so we've done that descent pretty much perfectly.
Requesting visual runway 07 Charlie.
Air France 126, first of all descent to reach level 110 at Kerax.
Descent to 1000 by Kerax, Air France 126.
Skyway 502 treat, left heading 160, descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1022.
Left heading 160, descend 5,000, QNH 1022, Skyways 5023. So you can see we're just actually going off of the procedure now, and we're going to go down to, we're going to start getting vectors now, which is what I thought we'd get. Oh, I haven't modified that.
Confirm 1000,
Just do that.
110 by Kerax.
Alright, 1000 by Kerax, Air France 126.
Okay, I don't actually know what sort of feet per minute we're going to be looking at here, but
Lufthansa.
we'll see. You can see we're on heading mode now. We're only doing 250 knots, so we're pretty good. Because this thing doesn't give you a line to say this is where you'll be at the end of this descent if you continue at this rate, unfortunately. It doesn't really matter, but would be kind of nice if it did it. Right, 1,400 feet per minute we're going to go.
Descent 4,000 feet.
And I don't actually know how steep of a descent we want here, but we're currently 28 miles out, so probably want a fairly not a steep descent, but not a really shallow one either. And yeah, we're basically being given vectors to the ILS now, so. And the glide slope starts at Veta. You can see, obviously, our ILS is in 109.5.
Radio check.
So that's good. And then, yeah, QNH is 1022, so we'll set that. Thank you. I hope everyone is enjoying the stream, of course. Right, passing flight level 90, we'll set the QNH pretty soon.
Hello, Speedway 265 with information Sierra in Stuttgart.
Hopefully we can get a good landing with this plane. I can't actually remember how good I am at landing this thing, honestly. How good or bad I am actually at landing it.
5,000 feet, squawk 2274.
And see, there's the flap extension speed, so we have to wait until 230 knots. Remember, flaps for arrival, and it's going to be 139 knots landing speed. We checked earlier.
274 in the box. Speedway 265. Speedway 265, right back, correct.
Yeah, we'll be giving vectors to roughly where DS411 is, and then onto the ILS. That's probably what we'll get. Roughly. We're looking pretty good for altitude at the moment.
For ILS 07 right.
But yeah, it's a nice plane this. I do enjoy flying it. Even though there's no VNAV, you have to do all of it via vertical speed, but it's pretty fun, really. It's, you know, it does provide something a little bit different than just flying planes that have VNAV.
France 126, just to confirm, you're unable for ILS.
I mean, this plane is supposed to have VNAV, but it doesn't work 100%. It doesn't work in the descent at all, and in the climb it doesn't really work either. So, I don't know whether that's realistic, whether that's just because this is an old plane, though. I don't actually know. And by old plane, I mean, like, the model in X-Plane is old. It's like, I don't know, it's probably, is it like, I think it was made for X-Plane 10, or maybe even X-Plane 9, I'm not sure. But it's quite an old model, this. It doesn't look that old, it hasn't really been changed, it apparently just looked advanced initially. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn off traffic on my map, because Stuttgart has got 6 planes on the ground, and obviously they will show up on my TCAS, which I don't want, because that'll clutter it up. So it's a bit annoying that, it's not supposed to show planes on the ground like that, it's only supposed to show planes within 2,000 or 3,000 feet of us usually in most planes, but in this plane it seems to be different. Right, set QNH to 1022. There, and that's set it on both sides. Good. And we can go ahead and probably shallow out the descent a bit more now. And we'll start to slow the plane down. At the moment, we have already been cleared down as low as 5,000.
Friesenformation am Rollhaltepiste 07, Räubern einem Hotel, abflugbereit.
We probably descended a little bit early, but not too bad actually.
502, treat, left heading 110, cleared ILS 07.
Left heading 110, cleared ILS 07, Skyways 5023. So now we've been cleared on the ILS, what we're going to go ahead and do is activate approach mode. No, hang on a minute, that's not what we're going to do. First we need to go over to localizer 1, and then we hit nav, and then that will arm the glide slope and the navigation. The glide slope, the glide slope and the navigation, and they will arm when they're ready. We can arm the spoilers for landing. And the flaps 1 is set. You can see we're currently just sitting at 5,000 waiting for the glide slope and the localizer, which we should hopefully be pretty good on. Go around altitude here is 5,000, so that's good. That's set. So yeah, you know, considering there's no VNAV or anything, I've got this plane on the arrival pretty good. We're just waiting now. The localizer should come in pretty soon. Shouldn't be too long now. The course is set correctly and we've captured it. It's 14 miles away. So these people are a bit loud. Whoa, I'm pretty sure that means that the plane is like having trouble keeping in the air. I'm very certain it's fine. With this, it's only going 45% power, so it's not having too much issue maintaining this.
Easy 3 Mac Bravo, ready to copy clearance.
Right, sooner or later we should pick up the localizer. Oh, there it is, there it is. It's okay. There you go, we've picked up the localizer.
Startup approved, cleared to
We picked up the localizer, we've got
Lima
it.
Fox Kilo Juliet via Rottwell 7 Hotel departure, flight plan route, climb via SID 5,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
We're down to 180 knots now.
Via Rottwell 7 Hotel departure,
I'm gonna go flaps position 2.
squawk 1,000. ECA 3 Mac Bravo.
ET 3 Mac Bravo, feedback correct.
And there you go, we're established on the ILS, you can see there.
Lufthansa 9 Papa Zulu, monitor Unicom 122 decimal 8, tschüss.
Unicom 122 decimal 8, Lufthansa 9 Papa Zulu, Dankeschön, tschüss und schönen Sonntag.
And we'll go flaps 3 to help slow the plane down. He didn't tell us to report established, so we're not going to do that. You generally only tell him if he says report established. Our plane is heading 45 miles away, obviously. That's because we haven't, enabled it. Yeah, okay. There's the airport there, so it's pretty much perfect on that then. We're going to slow to 160 knots now. All brakes are set medium, landing lights are on, everything's all ready for landing. What we're going to do now is go flaps 4 for landing. That should slow us down a little bit. Where's the runway, look? Flight time's looking pretty much perfect. We're at an hour and 41 minutes. It's supposed to be an hour and 42 in all. By the time we land, it'll probably be a little bit later than that. Right, gear down. And we'll go final landing speed, which is 139. We'll add 5. So 144.
Transavia 40 Hotel Langenräder identified.
Air France 12610 miles of the correct.
Right, gear is down. We're good.
Skyway 5023, wind 360 degrees, 6 knots, runway 07, clear to land.
Runway 07 cleared to land. Skyway is 5023. Right, there we go. We've been cleared to land. We'll give the plane a little bit more power
126, turn right,
to maintain the speed.
Right, heading 230, Air France 126.
Feels like quite a nice plane to fly this thing.
Radar Gute, Lufthansa 446, passing 3,000 feet, climbing 5,000 feet.
So 446, Langenräder identified, climb flight level 220.
We'll just point the nose down a little bit because we're a tiny bit high now.
ECA 3 Mac Bravo, request taxi.
ECA 3 Mac Bravo, taxi to holding point, runway 07.
See, there's quite a few planes on the ground there, look. I don't really mind where we get put in terms of the stand.
Taxi November and India to runway holding point 07, ECA 3 Mac Bravo.
So, there you go. Flaps are set, gear is down, speed brakes are armed. We are ready for landing into Stuttgart. It's been a really fun flight actually, gone quite quickly for an hour and 45-minute flight.
Pushback.
Oh, I think there's a bit of a gusty wind there. Quickly. It's okay. Just gusted to a crosswind briefly. Maybe the weather updated, I don't know. It's slightly too high, but not too bad.
Speedway 265 for pushback, please, in Stuttgart.
Okay, we're back on course now.
Speedway 265, push approved, face east.
Push approved, facing east 265.
Spitzenfliegerformation.
You're looking good on the approach.
2200 Fuß.
Verstanden.
There's minimums to continue. The GPWS callouts on this plane are insanely quiet, so we probably won't hear them.
Genehmigt die Frage, machst du auch fit?
Nee, ich mach jetzt gleich zu.
There you go, we're pretty good on the arrival there now.
Okay.
On the final.
Ja, okay, schönen Sonntag. Danke, ciao.
They're so quiet, those GPWS callouts. Right, idle the power. Oh wow, I didn't even notice we touched down. Apparently that was a minus 307. That felt a lot smoother than that, but okay. Right, reverses are out. Right, we'll track the reverses.
Jet 1 Romeo Golf.
The auto brakes don't seem to be doing anything, so I'll use my own
Contact Tower 1
brakes.
bye bye.
We've just missed Delta, so we'll take Bravo. Okay, those auto brakes, as soon as we retracted the reverses, the auto brakes didn't do anything.
France 126, descend flight level 80.
Alright, hello, my equivalent to Stuttgart. That's a pretty good flight, that was. And stop the clock, 1 hour 45 minutes. There we go. Taxi lights can come on, lane lights off. Won't fire up the AP just yet, because it's basically instant. And we'll just hold here and let the controller know we vacated. Langen radar, skyways 5023, vacated, runway 07.
Station, sorry. Skyways 5023, taxi stand 29er by Sierra Hotel and Mike.
Taxi stand 29 via Sierra Hotel Mike, Skyways 5023. Okay, Sierra and then Hotel and then Mike. Okay, cool. And yeah, we won't start the AP just yet because it's basically an insta start. APU starts instantly. Yeah, no problem for stream. Good landing. I'm wondering whether the landing rate on that overlay is broken. I need to install the landing rate plugin. There's a plugin that monitors your landing and it gives you like the G's of your touchdown, and it monitors it for each wheel, so it's quite accurate, and it also says how long you floated the aircraft as well. I really need to download that because I think it's called like landing rate plugin or something. I'm not sure, but because that overlay landing rate, it doesn't seem to work. I don't know. That did not look like a -300. It looked. Maybe we'll look at it on the replay once we've finished. But there we go. That was a really good flight. I'm pleased with that. 1 hour 45 minutes in the end. Just have a quick look at the parking stands. Runway stand 29er is. So once we go down Hotel, it'll basically be the first stand on the left. So we turn left and it'll be the first stand on the right, is what I mean. APU is fired up, so that's good. And we can go ahead and turn off all these flight directors and stuff now and put it into FMS mode. There he goes in EasyJet. Where is he going? Where are they going?
Speedway 265, request taxi.
They're going to
Speedway 265, text tolling point runway 07 by
someplace in France. I can't pronounce it.
07 Mike in India, Speedway 265.
It's their first time on Vatsim as well. I just saw they put that in their remarks. It's suddenly very quiet here in Stuttgart because there's a big group of like DC3s or something going for a flight. They've all left now, so it's only left one plane, which is a 737-300 that's going to Palma.
1024.
Descent 5124.
That was a good flight. Happy with that. Good landing as well. I like this plane. Haven't flown it in a little bit, so it's good to do another flight in it. Probably end up doing more flights in it eventually. So it's a very nice plane. There isn't really a decent E195 for FSX, so I don't think there is. I can check on Fly UK now. But at least for Fly UK, yeah, there's a virtual call one, and that's it. And there's a freeware one, but the freeware aircraft's never that good, and the virtual call one didn't look very good when I looked at it. So yeah, there's not really decent Embraer for that. And there is a decent one for P3D though. P3D's got the Feel V3, which is a really nice aircraft as well. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons I switched to X-Plane was that. It's because X-Plane does actually have quite good, versus FSX anyway, it has quite a good third-party development. It's maybe not quite as good as P3D, but the add-ons are cheaper, and obviously you've got Flight Factor as well. Flight Factor makes some awesome planes, and obviously the 787 is coming soon, and that will make a big improvement to X-Plane, I think. That's the one thing I think X-Plane is missing right now, is a really, really decent long-haul aircraft that's a Boeing. Like 777, 787 is basically what I'm talking about. There isn't a decent one of either of those, so... And obviously there isn't a decent A330 really either. But A340, Tolis is making one, so that'll probably be quite nice. I mean, A330, there's the jar design, it's probably okay, but...
Alright,
Probably not as good as if Toadus did it. Right,
Right,
hotel's up there, so we're going to make a right turn on hotel. It's quite a long taxi, this.
265 with 0, question 360 degrees.
I have no idea what airline they're supposed to be.
07 cleared for takeoff.
So they're just showing up as a US Airways, which I don't think they are.
ED3 Mac Bravo identified, climb flight level 230.
I'm actually going a bit quickly here, so we'll just slow down a little bit. Right, and yeah, we were supposed to burn on today's flight about 3,000 kilos of fuel, and we only burned 1,700 kilos. So that's another thing with this plane. The doesn't seem very good, the fuel burn on it. It's not accurate at all. At least according to what SimBrief says, anyway. And Fly UK, did they give any fuel? Because Fly UK doesn't give a fuel estimate. Didn't give a fuel
Monitor
estimate.
Unicom 1228, bye bye.
Monitor Unicom 1228, 5 kilo touchdown.
So you got a bit of static AI. I positive I turned off static aircraft. I did, but it still draws parked aircraft even though I turned them off. The stand is supposed to be here, but weirdly, it's actually, yeah, there are supposed to be hangars here. I don't know why I've been parked next to hangars rather than the terminal. I guess it's a remote stand. So obviously we have got JAR Design Ground Handling Deluxe that allows us to put up full ground crew, which is always nice. Although one thing that is missing from it is a marshaller. I would absolutely love to have a marshaller like with GSX, but no, sadly that's the one thing missing. Also, Ground Handling Deluxe doesn't have a pushback tractor either, but obviously there is better pushback, which is perfect. Better pushback's amazing. But you know, as a replacement, you can just go outside, which is more than good enough. It doesn't even need to be that exact. We'll get the taxi lights off now as well, and then we'll just park it up basically as soon as we can see, look, that orange light, and that's what you'd use in real life as a pilot as well, with no marshaller. Right, parking brake is set. You can see we've parked pretty well there, I think. Yep. Maybe a tiny bit early, but it's okay. Right, APU power is on. APU gen can come on, and we'll go ahead and turn off the engines.
Speedway 265, identified climb flight level 230.
Yeah, the engines are off.
Climb flight level 230, speedway 265, correction speed, way 265.
Oh wait, there you go. Packs can come off, bleeds can come off as well. You can see a lot of those sounds will just start happening now. Ice protection can come off, we'll keep the windshield heating on for now. And all the fuel pumps can come off, and the hydraulic pumps as well. That one doesn't do anything. And what we want to do now is head to weight and balance. No, not weight and balance. We want to head to the menu and toggle ground equipment and ground power unit. GPU on. APU can come off. And then I promise I'll stop that there.
126, monitor Unicom 1228, bye bye.
There we go. And then plug-ins, ground handling. And we'll get everything driven up to the aircraft.
I think that there is a tower on 119.9.
Nope, he's closing as well.
Oh, good. Okay, monitor Unicom.
Right, beacon light off.
Bye-bye.
ED3 Mac Bravo.
Windshield heating come off now, and that's everything off, I think.
Unicom 122.8, tschüss und dann noch ECE 3 Mac Bravo.
The electric aircraft power can come off.
65, monitor Unicom 1228, bye bye.
Right, we'll wait for all the ground crew to get into position. We can open all the doors on that side of the aircraft. We just need to wait for the passenger bus before we can do anything on that side. There you go, the stairs are in place. Let's go ahead and open the doors. Seatbelt signs can come off. And there we are, all good. I just noticed that despite the fact that there are no baggage handling vehicles get in place, somehow baggage was still being loaded on board. And I do wish there would be a feature to unload baggage as well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? The ability to unload baggage. Right, well there we are. We are here in Stuttgart. That was a really fun little Oh, I just opened the cabin door. Yeah, that works. And there we are. Hope everyone enjoyed that flight. I really enjoyed it. I think that was great fun. There's a little Air Berlin over there. Again, for some reason, I've turned off draw parked aircraft, but for some reason, they're still there. There must be a reason for it. I can't work it out, though. Right. I want to grab a replay of that landing now. We're going to go ahead and disconnect from Vatsim, because otherwise it'll freak out any of these plugins, and we'll submit the flight on Fly UK. And then, yeah, I'm going to go have a quick look, then, at the replay. So is it flight toggle replay mode? There's a bit of a lag, then, usually. Oh, actually, it's okay. Oh, nice. So, unlike FSX, the state of the aircraft is actually loaded in properly. Although the replay mode can be a bit laggy in X-Plane. I probably should have used the... Yeah, it needs to reload the air... We need to reload the airport now. I may have crashed X-Plane. Oh well. It doesn't matter because the flight's finished and we've submitted everything, but... Yeah, the replay mode is a bit dodgy, actually, unless... I think I need to use the arrows to fast forward and rewind it, rather than use the mouse and click on the bar, because otherwise what happens is you scroll too far back and then it has to reload everything, which means that it just pauses for like a minute and a half. Well, I'll give this a bit of time. Hopefully it's going to be okay and working, but we'll see. Hopefully. Okay, I may have crashed X-Plane, never mind, it doesn't matter. Just wanted to look at that landing, because it said it was 123 feet per minute, and I didn't believe it. You can see it hasn't loaded stuff incorrectly yet. There you go, that's the way we want to do it. There we go. So let's have a look at our landing then. Let's get this view here. Is this slow-mo? I can't tell. I think this is actual real time. There we are. Let's see what that landing was like. See there. There's no way that was minus 300. Although that looked quite smooth to me. The auto brakes never really did anything, did they? Yeah, I want to get a look at that, but there's no way that landing was minus 300. Like, that's a really smooth landing, I think. That was a really smooth landing. Oh, okay, never mind. We'll just ignore that. Anyway, hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I will leave you with the background music and the end screen. I hope everyone enjoyed this flight. Oh my word, this plane's freaking out after loading in from replay mode. Aha! That's great. It's just freaking out. I'll go ahead and quit X-Plane. Obviously you guys couldn't hear any of that, but the plane was freaking out after that. Yeah, that didn't look minus 300, but I said maybe I'll have to try the landing rate plugin. I'll see if I can find it. And it's probably a lot more accurate, I think. Hopefully, anyway. But I hope everyone enjoyed that flight. I hope to see you in the next stream. I'll leave you with the background music and the end screen. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one, and bye.